Hello, teacher. My name is Nhi. I'm a member of Group 4. Group 4 consists of 6 members. Today, our group will talk about the topic of debt. So, what is debt? To understand more about that, we will first learn about the definition of debt, the second type of debt, third, advantages and disadvantages of debt. First, definition of debt. Debt is the amount of money that's owed by person, company, country, and that they usually have to pay interest. In other words, the amount owed by the borrower to the lender. A debt is the sum of money that is borrowed for certain periods of time and is to be returned along with the interest. When a party or corporates borrow money to make big purchases or investments that are normally unaffordable and had to be repaid within a certain time, along with an interest such borrowed sum. Some of the famous forms of debt are loan, mortgage, credit card debt, personal person. So, some examples. The first, student loan. If you don't have the money to pay for college, a student loan will enable you to borrow money and pay it back at a later date with interest. The second, auto loan. An auto loan allows you to borrow money from a lender and use that money to purchase a car. You don't have to repay the loan in fixed installment over set period, and interest will be changed on money you borrow. Next will be the presentation.
Thank you for your presentation. The next part will be personal debt. The first is personal debt. Is a debt that an individual borrows from another person or organization and is legally responsible for it. The second is debt is arising from foreign to many use. That's arising from borrowing money to purchase primary goods, server, or assets. That certificate are through US loan amount, including interest over the loan term. The final is debt mortgage by property, loan, the amount, or debts are often secured by mortgage or security interest on the borrower property, whereas the lender may have certain right over that property upon the borrower departure.
On to the next part is corporate debt. So what is corporate debt? Corporate debt is the money that is out by the companies, and corporate debt can be publicly traded or privately placed with financial institutions. Bond is the most common type of corporate debt, and it allows a company to raise capital by selling the promise of repayment to investors. Both individual or institutional investment firm can purchase bonds, which carry a set interest on coupon rate. If a company needs to raise $1 million to fund the purchase of new equipment, for example, it can issue 1,000 bonds, which a face value of $1,000 each.
Now I will present to you some information about another type of debt. This is public debt. The first thing I want to share to you is about the definition. Public debt can also be called as government debt. It is the total amount, including total liabilities, borrowed by the government. The second thing I want you to know is about the resources of public debt. They are dated government security, treasury bill, external assistance, and short-term borrowing, like the government can borrow money from the commercial bank. Here is an example of Vietnam government bonds. Public debt comes from the government's spending needs, so when the government spending is greater than the amount of taxes, fees, and charges collected, the government they can borrow from domestic or foreign to cover the budget deficit. This loan will have to repay principal and interest when due. The government will have to increase taxes to compensate. That is the reason why public debt is an important source of resources for a government. So the purpose is to finance the public spending and meet its development budget. There are two forms of public debt. The first one is issuing government bonds. The second one is borrowing money directly from commercial bank and super-rational institutions. Like such as you can borrow from International Monetary Fund. Next presentation will be Thanh.
Debt is one of the oldest financial instruments, but it is good or bad. And so we will cover some of the advantages of debt. Firstly, the distribution of more of money in the economic. One way of seeing that it a way to reallocate money to more productive areas of the economic. Secondly, that is mutually beneficial. Debt control should be efficient. Both parties become better off as a result. The lender gains interest and the borrower gains money when he needs it and can use it for a more productive process. Thirdly, mortgage debt. Without mortgage debt, more people would never be able to buy a product because it is so expensive compared to income. Thirdly, investment. If there is the investment, it will be easier for business and individuals to invest to increase productivity. And finally, income life cycle. More people will find their income better considerability about their lifetime.
Next, I'm going to talk about disadvantages of debt. First, debt can affect your ability to see new opportunities to attain value for the company. In companies with a high debt ratio, they often tend to reduce costs, which will create value in the future. And I think it's a consequence of being investor for monthly payments. Second, that too many people discredit you with partners, your customers. Honestly, more everyone is afraid of debt because debt usually brings many risks, and in addition, having a lot of debt can reduce companies' reputation. From this, we can understand why investors and customers are not interested in debt. And finally, disadvantage of debt is create conflict between creditor and investor when the company is about to stop operating to pay its debts. And that's all my team want to talk about that. Thank you for your listening.